Yo, what's up? Episode 96. You gotta be kidding me. What's up, people? Happy Monday. Here we go. And record player now. Mozart time. Actually, this is not Mozart. It's my Baroque mix. What's up, everybody? It's Monday, my favorite day of the week. And here we are. Evening hour, episode 96. Let me know if I'm coming in loud and clear. No, I am not drinking mug root beer. My friend bought me Stewards. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. This is pretty good, folks. Yeah, come on in, folks. Who do we got in here? I see Joel, Lilith, Mark, Amanda, Ruby, Mavis, Dan. Hey, what's up, people? Come on in. Cheers. Get cozy. I got a lot of things to chat about tonight. Let me adjust a few things. And let's have some fun. As you all know, Monday's my favorite day of the week. I think a lot of you like Mondays. And, yeah. If you're new to the channel... Oh, my mama's in the house. What's up, mama? My mother is moving to Rockaway Beach. It's exciting. And tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., I'm going to go look at a new apartment for her. Yeah, come on in. If you're new to this show, welcome. Don't be shy. It's a chat show. People come in here and chat. I wouldn't do this if it wasn't live. So please come on in. We got a really friendly, smart, awesome group in here. And yeah, if you're new, the least you can do is hit the stupid subscribe button. It's down right here. There's a little box that I can't see, but you can see. That's the least you can do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notify. You hear me whining about it all the time. It's because you're shadow banned until you hit certain numbers on these things. So they make it really hard to grow the channel. So that's the least you can do. And if you're the donating type, hallelujah. There is a link in the description. And Ashworth, thank you. Achilles, Ruby, everybody who's been donating, thank you. Really, from the bottom of my heart. It goes right into the show. Let me go back to live cam. What's Joel saying? Maybe she can be on here with you. Who's she? Oh, my mama. Yes. I should do an episode where mama comes and sits and we do stories, stuff that she knows about. That would be fun. Great idea. For sure. I haven't done an interview show in a while. I like doing them live. When I do them via Zoom, quite frankly, they're a pain in the ass. I'm going to be honest. So, yeah, that's a good idea. You know my saying, it ain't anything unless you write it down. So I'm going to write, Mama, are you watching? Are you cool with doing an interview here? I'm going to put interview Franola. That's my nickname for my mama. All right, cool. Yeah, I should do that. When she's here, I'll do an episode with her. So quickly, just want to go over some things. Yeah, if you're new in here, awesome. if you see people doing some weird chatty game where it looks like they're typing weird numbers in, yes, there's an in-chat game here live, and you'll see people in the chat doing it. It's Zalthon, the robot moderator. And, oh, yeah, Fran, I will be there. Cool. So, yeah, there's a live chat game. And basically, the more you chat, the more points you get. You can gamble them. Oh, thank you, Lilith. Yes, you'll get a kick out of my mama, and you'll see clearly where I get my gumption and my chutzpah. What was I saying? I had something to say about... Oh! Yeah, the points, the game. You win points. And then, in the description below, there's a web store, and you can get either a poster or a mystery box. And there's a bunch of people... Here you go, Dan P, I points. Boom. So Dan P right now has enough points to get a poster and a mystery box. Congrats. Oh, see, Mark's gambling. And he just lost 100 points. See how it works? You have enough points. You're almost there to get a mystery box, Mark. So anyway, I digress. I had a melatonin weekend. I had a mellow weekend. Not too busy. I didn't have a lot of shows. I did work at my nightclub gig on Friday. It was very late. A little too late. I'm not a late... I'm a late bird till about 2. I go to bed at 2 and get up at 7. That's kind of my schedule, so... did Mama teach you how to make gnocchi? Believe it or not, my mama's mama taught us all. And my dad's mama. Our grandparents were the food bosses. So all of my mom's cooking came from grandma. My mama made some good stuff, too. I remember mom's lasagna. You made a lot of food at home, too. But I'm going to be honest, and my mom will testify, we didn't eat at home a lot. Why? Because the grandparents cooked 3 meals a day. Everything. I mean, really, they all cooked. So we ate at the grandparents' house a lot, including my parents. Wouldn't you? I mean, really. Oh, thank you, Joel. Oh, yeah, you got a mystery box. Right. Cool. Yeah, I wanted to make today's episode a little mellow. Next week. So what's going on next week? Well, next Monday and Tuesday, I have music rehearsals. Yes, this is happening. Holy crap. October 29th, next Friday, live at Rockaway Beach. We're playing a show. We haven't played in a long time. It's our get ready show for Webster Hall. And we're going to blow the roof off of Rockaway Beach. Your hours are exactly the same as himself. That's awesome. Yeah, I would say we definitely are birds of a feather. Yeah, that's my hours. Let me ask, does your significant other do a midday nap? I've learned the art of the disco nap, the power nap. Approximately 2 p.m. is my nap. I will pass out if you tell me he takes a nap at 2 p.m. Dan P., your mom is 100% Italian, and she can cook. Love Sunday dinners. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, my family on Sundays, yeah, we definitely went to grandma's house and ate gnocchi. So, what was I saying about the weekend? Yeah, my weekend was normal Rockaway weekend. There was a party at our boat marina. My buddy who makes surfboards threw a party, and it was quite epic. There was live music, fires. And then this is going to lead into my first subject. Yes to the nap. What time, Lilith? I'm curious. Because if it's at 2 p.m., I'm going to be like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Mine's at 2. I try to do no longer than 30 minutes. Occasionally it's 45. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't like sleeping much. Since I started my 2-year Maury filter, I don't like sleeping much. For those of you that don't know, I pretend like I'm going to die in 2 years. and I filter everything through that. And so getting up early is part of that. Like if you knew you were going to croak in 2 years, would you sleep in? Hell no. TV dinner house. Yo, we ate TV dinners too. I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, and both my parents worked. So yes, I like TV dinners. So all right, Sunday. I'm literally having a perfect Rockaway day. I did a bunch of housework. I no ways for surfing. And then me and my friends, we're going to skateboard down the boardwalk, which is that away, to my friend's party. And it's a pretty far journey on a skateboard. It's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I don't know, 45, 50 blocks. So we get there, or we choose a little 4 to 5. Wow. Interesting. Definitely some Count Dracula stuff in there. So on the way to the party, if you go to my Instagram stories under Rockaway, I think they're already gone already. Literally the most beautiful scenery I've ever seen. Where the sun rises in the east, the cloud cover was beautiful. Where the sun was setting was absolutely stunning with purples and blues. And as we were going down, I noticed off to my left, towards inland, not towards the ocean, I'm like, wow, the sky looks crazy. And I literally thought I was looking at a special effect from a movie shoot. It looked like it was about a mile away, and it was a rainbow-colored pattern that looked wide. Like it looked like many buildings wide and not that far away. And it went straight up, not too far, and went into the clouds. And it literally looked like there was some sort of gadget on the ground beaming the lights. Kind of like the 9/11 lights. We had these two bright shining lights, right? So it looked like that, but colorful. And my first thought was, wow, they have that now too? They have colored ones? Well, no. It was a rainbow, and it was stunning. It was wide and big and weird looking and totally unnatural. And out here, we see lots of rainbows. There are days where I'll either be surfing or just hanging out on the boardwalk, and I'll see 2 rainbows in 2 different directions. And it happens a lot. But this one was different. It was a fat, crazy looking rainbow. If you look at my Instagram stories, you'll see. I took a picture, and I commented that the picture sucks. It's 1/10 of what it was in the color spectrum. I don't know. It was absolutely beautiful. And it literally choked me up. Whenever I see rainbows, I always stop to take time to look at them. You're never going to see that rainbow ever again. And I try to reflect on, not only is it just delightful to look at, but I try to just think about the mystery of it all and what people might have thought of in the old, caveman times when they saw that. And then this morning, I'm writing and reflecting on these notions. And I started thinking about the idea of embellishing a story. Because I told today my story about my rainbow a million times. And I didn't really embellish it much consciously. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit, of why people embellish stories. And what it means. And why I wanted to learn about it in detail, and how I use it to my advantage in my line of work. Now, we all know, like, even when you're a little kid, the notion of, how big was the fish you caught? What was this big? Right? So, and we've all had this experience. And anytime you're telling a story to somebody of something magical or special or wondrous that happened to you, notice where you embellish. Really try to notice it. You'll be shocked. We all do it. There's a reason. And the first time I ever saw it written down anywhere was in a magic book. They're the Tarbell books. It's like a series of books for magicians. And there was a little essay on it, and it kind of talked about it. But the idea is people embellish the story because the person they're telling it to, what is the action? We're going to go into theater lingo now. What is their action? What are they trying to do? Well, they're trying to tell the person something cool that happened to them, right? And they want that person to feel it a bit. Like, wow, that must have been cool. So their action is to excite them with this story. To excite, okay? To dazzle them. I love that they're talking about TV dinner brownies. And yes, I agree, the brownies are delicious in TV dinners. So the action is to excite them. And if you want to break it to 2 words, to excite. Right? So if that's your action and the person wasn't there, people naturally add a bit to create an emotional hook. Like if I'm like, yo, I saw a rainbow yesterday. It was one of the biggest and most beautiful ones I ever saw. People will go, wow, that's cool. But if I go, dude, have you ever seen a rainbow? Yes. I saw one that was so wide, it looked like it was a mile this way. And they're like, wow. That wow is the feeling I felt from seeing that rainbow. But if I told it the first way, I wouldn't have gotten them to feel that wow. See where I'm getting at? So the reason why I know about these things is because if you're a magician and you pay attention, which most magicians don't, after you're done doing a little bit of magic, it's very important to, when you're first learning, listen to what people say about what they saw. So, for instance, if you do a magic trick for somebody, something simple. I picked a card, put it in the deck, and by God, it was in the magician's sock. Now, let me actually scratch that. Let's do this one. I'm gonna tell you the story of a real trick. Someone picks a card, puts it in the deck, signs their name on it, rubber bands it up, and you throw the deck up, and it comes down, and by God, there's a card stuck on the ceiling. Right? So I've done that trick, and within 1 minute, I hear the person telling it to their friend, and they go, dude, he just did a trick, and the card floated to the ceiling. What? Floated to the ceiling? That's not what happened. It didn't float to the ceiling. I threw the deck up, and it hit the ceiling. But his memory already has made it into it floated into the ceiling. Because if he said it to his friend, dude, he threw the deck up, it just sounds weird. But for him to say it floated to the ceiling and stuck, it was easier to say and was not what I did, but it sounds pretty spectacular. When I started noticing that notion that people did that, it blew my mind. Why? Because it's not telephone. The game of telephone is you tell it to this guy, you tell it to this guy. By the time you get to the 10th person, it's a different story. But this is between 2 people. I did the trick, he's telling somebody, and it's already altered in a profound manner. So check it out. The ancient shaman noticed this. They saw it. They said, wow, people embellish stuff. Their ego wants their storytelling to be very powerful, and they want to affect the other person. That's the goal. That's the action, to affect. Not to educate. What do I need to educate somebody about the rain? They don't need to know that. I want to affect them. I want them to get a little piece of this magic I experienced last night seeing this fat rainbow. So, the shaman noticed this. He said, wow. People do this naturally. It's not even conscious. It just happens. People embellish. So he realized that by doing certain things, he could dictate how they were going to embellish it. By using certain words and behaving in certain manners, maybe his words of what he was doing didn't match what he was actually doing. Therefore, their memory remembers it differently than what actually happened. And this is the secret to lots of magic, folks. I mean, there it is. When I started seeing it happen for real, right in front of my eyes, Honestly, I was like, there it is. It's real. I get to see it daily. Any thoughts on that? I'm interested. Dan says, it's funny to hear someone tell a story that you were there to witness. The embellishment can be hilarious. Yeah. And shocking of how people remember things. And, you know, it's weird because you can't really criticize it necessarily because usually it's a subconscious decision. This has nothing to do with it, but it just popped into my head. Did you ever hear the story of how Robin Williams was famous for stealing material? You might not have heard that. When I heard that, I looked it up a bit, and I was pretty shocked to see this, but supposedly, Robin Williams was a joke thief, and a lot of comedians were like, yo, dude, he's really bad. He steals comedy. Then I did a little research on it, and I found out he actually ended up apologizing to a lot of people that he ripped off stuff from. But I found the reason why. Check this out. And I only understand this because I myself have done this in a magic context. It's survival. And it's making decisions in a survival mode. You pick what wins. You don't care where it came from. For instance, Robin Williams is a stand-up comedian that uses improv. I mean, he is like, you know, he does like 3 lines of cocaine and runs out and just starts going. He has a framework, but he really does do a lot of improv. So when you're in improv mode and you're jazzing, if there's a joke that you've heard somebody else write, even if it's short and sweet, and the moment arises where it's the most perfect solution to get a laugh, they do it. The magician equivalent would be, we have hack lines, we call them. Hey, will you help me do a trick? Yeah. Put your hand out. The clean one. There's a hack line. I'm trying to think of some other good ones. There's a lot of them. They're not very funny, but magicians will do them. And they'll do them in weird habit form. And the reason is they work. Their natural instincts kick in. That joke is sitting there waiting. And boom, it just comes out. And it's almost like a subconscious decision. Now that I'm aware of these things, you can now steer away a bit. Once you understand the functionality. Yes, I did do this. Mark, you picked it out, my tarot episode. Yeah, the unofficial rule was if it was on Carson, it was off limits. Yeah. Yeah, my tarot episode goes into the psychology of this pretty detailed. And if you watch any of my magic learning videos on Magic Method, yeah, I get into the psychology of it. I really like including it in these programs because we do have a very thoughtful group in here that does what I do, which all of these things are tied together. And I try to tie the strings and learn from them, you know? All right, let's have some fun. We're halfway through, and I really wanted to do something tonight. I forget, which one of you said, what's your top 10 favorite books? Somebody said it a month ago. And I was really like, oh man, I never did that. I've done movies. I've done influential humans. I've never done top 10 books. And so here, I did one. I posted it somewhere, but some people didn't see it, so. And I wanted to talk about it. And then, as I was doing that, I found my film list and my hero list. And the film list, this one was my favorite horror films. I was going to read it tonight just because it's October. And I've seen all of these movies multiple times. Most of them aren't that obscure. There's a few obscure, weird movies in here, but basically, yeah, I was going to go over this. But here it is. Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Right? It's my favorite. Evil Dead 2. Suspiria, the original. Dawn of the Dead. And then Night of the Living Dead. I had to put both of those on. I like Day of the Dead, but these made the list. Blackula, hands down, amazing movie. Carpenter's The Thing. The Devils with Vanessa Redgraves. And Gladiator Man. Oliver Reed. Boozy. You want to see something funny? Google Oliver Reed and all of his drunk videos come up. Amazing. The Devils is a fine film. If that's the one a lot of people haven't seen. It's hard to find a print. Return of the Living Dead. Love that one. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. 2. Not 1. 2. A lot of people don't like 2. I like 2. Dracula 1979. And I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to do an entire episode on that movie. It's coming. Rosemary's Baby. The Fly, the Jeff Goldblum one, not the original. Even though I'm a Vincent Price fan, Goldblum steals the show. American Werewolf in London. Phantasm, and I like the whole series. The Exorcist. Friday the 13th, Part 4. At Midnight, I'll Take Your Soul. Kind of obscure. That's a Brazilian movie. Zé do Caixão, a.k.a. Coffin Joe. And you know what? It's so weird. I have a Coffin Joe autograph, which should be there, but it's not there. I think it fell. Yeah, I didn't even realize it. I have something signed by him. It's crazy. If you want to see a brilliant movie, look up the Coffin Joe series. He just passed away a few years ago. Actually, last year, I think. Big fan. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's a really great movie. Oh, Disco Dracula. You're right. Well, the love scene in Dracula 79 when he makes love and bites her is definitely disco-ish. Although the Disco Dracula movie isn't that. In 1979, at the same time, Love at First Bite came out with George Hamilton. And that had a disco scene. Does anybody remember the song that got famous? You got to know it. It was on the radio every day. The Abominable Dr. Phibes. That had to make the list. Out of the new movies, I liked Hereditary. And then, here you go. Suspiria, the new one. Loved it. And then, last but not least, Bride of Frankenstein. So there's my horror film lists. I would watch any of those right now. Right now. I just put it, I like them that much. So now let's get over to the books. Now this was not easy because I have books that I like, and then I have books that changed my life, and I have books that I grew up reading. I have books that I carried with me just to be near them, right? So which ones were going to make a top 10 list? It was kind of hard. A lot of them were books that... I love the Nightlife. Rick Sherman got it. Come on, that was a great song. Thank you, Dan. No, Night Fever was... It should have been that, because it makes sense. Night Fever, Saturday Night Live. I love the nightlife. I like the boogie. That's George Hamilton. So cool. They think that Dracula 1979 with Frank Langella didn't do as well because of this comedy movie that came out, the Disco Dracula movie. Yeah, it got blurry in the disco stuff. All right, so this book list is it was hard for me to do. I didn't know which ones. Some of these books you hear me talking about all the time, like the first one on the list, Spooky Tricks, people. This book changed my life. It's a book that I got in between kindergarten and first grade. This is my copy my dad gave me because I checked it out of the library so much. The artwork's beautiful. The premise is beautiful. It even has tricks in here. The reprint has a trick missing because the trick is called Stop Your Pulse. This is a kid's book. How cool is this? So, of course, that book changed my life. I found it. I read it. I checked it out of the library. I eventually bought... my dad got me a copy. And then I had this weird thing where I was collecting different editions of it. And whenever I would do a magic show in an elementary school, I would make it a point to go check their library and see what kind of magic tricks books they had. Because in the show, I would be like, yo, I learned magic from books. And so it would be terrible if they went to their library and there weren't any books. So then I would buy these on eBay for $1 and just donate them to the libraries. I thought it was important. There's that one little weird kid that needs to find this. And so, I know, Lilith, I actually, when I do my episode, I was thinking of either having you on or writing an essay or something. I need to talk to you because I know you both saw it and literally said it was absolutely mind-blowing. So I've done my own research. I have a program. The program from that production of Dracula has some of the best director's notes written in it, which I'll read on the show. Cool. Yeah, elementary school libraries don't have a lot. All right, here's my other book. Now, I have many versions of this. This is one. But this, oh, it's so heavy I can't even lift it. Right here. Sherlock Holmes. This is it. This is the complete annotated edition. It's everything ever written. It's all 4 novels and all the short stories. And it's annotated, massive. Oh, look. What is this? I don't know. Some Sherlockian stuff. I'm a major fan. People don't realize this, but Sherlock Holmes is the most portrayed fictional character in all of history. Yeah. There are more Sherlock Holmes books, movies, TV shows, poems, comic books, cartoons in every language. It's kind of cool. Yeah, he's the world's first consulting detective. Sherlock Holmes was a consulting detective before there were consulting detectives. It's kind of amazing. And I'm a fan. Big fan. If I have to pick fictional characters, he's probably number 1. Even though, anybody know what the second most popular fictional character of all time is? I'm curious. I'll throw that out there. Okay. Now we're getting funky. Because this book... Now, this book here I'm going to show you, I mean... Spooky tricks changed my life. I mean, that got the ball rolling. This next book, I don't even know where to begin. Folks, the original Dungeon Master's Guide. Now, gotta say this. I don't use Dungeons & Dragons rule set anymore. I play a different game. Dungeon Crawl Classics is the game I play, but this book is the one. This changed the game. Anybody who... Yep, Lilith, ba-boom, Dracula, second most portrayed fictional character. How cool is that? So cool. Think of the plays, the movie, it's so much. Gary Gygax wrote this book and influenced a generation of humans. Yep, Dracula. It's true. It gave me this, I don't even know why. This was the subculture of cultures. When I think of lunchtime from 7th grade till senior year in high school, I think of this. I think of these books. I think of me sitting at a table. Bill Yon, are you in here? Sometimes he's in here, Bill. Bill Yon is one of my high school classmates, and we would just sit at the table and roll characters, talk about games. I mean, I still are RPG. Still, to this day. Major part of my life. Okay. This book is a new one. I mean, new-ish. Talk about life-changing. Holy crap. Seneca. Letters from a Stoic. This is an $8 books, folks. Right here. $8 or $9 on Amazon or whatever. It's definitely... If you said you're going to go to a desert island, you could take 5 books. That would be in there. I can't wait to read this book again and again. all it is Seneca writing letters to his buddy. And Lucilius. And he's writing letters about simple notions in life. It's kind of simple, and it really blew my mind. Last year, I had a few rough months mentally, and this book saved my life. It gave me a new way to frame a few things in my life, and it gave me a new way to look at a few notions in a very simple manner. Yeah, it was actually. You're right. The Jeremy Brett Holmes. Yeah, I do like that. I need to see more of them. I haven't seen them all. He's great. I did like the Cumberbatch stuff too, a lot. DM Guide is fun if you didn't play. And what book did you order, Dan? Seneca? You will not be disappointed. You don't have to read it like a novel. You just read one letter. They're short. And I highly recommend, Dan, if you did get this book, get a pencil and read the book with a pencil. And anytime you see something that's cool, circle it. It'll change how you read. Swear to God. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, the next one, I don't have the book here, and you'll know why in a second. I have one. I just couldn't find it. So, number 5 on my list is the Johnson Smith catalog. I literally had it with me at all waking moments of my life for a very long... Oh, Meditations! I have it right over here. Where is it? Yeah. They're going to blow your mind, dude. So the Johnson Smith catalog is funny because Anton LaVey said that was his Gideon Bible. I thought that was kind of interesting. It was my Bible. It had everything in it. It had forbidden books. It had magic tricks. It had science gadgets. It had dirty jokes. It had some adult humor. And for me, it was my source, or where I ordered my first things on magic. And I ordered, it's funny, I'm gonna get it right now. I'm gonna put it on the donation page and get something. I'm gonna jump, hold on. Okay, there's my miracle ball. And here, okay, look at this. So from the Johnson Smith catalog, this was a styrofoam ball that I eventually painted to look like granite. I ordered this styrofoam ball. It's for a magic trick. But most importantly, I ordered this book. Now, I didn't put this on my list, but it's in there. Amateur Magician's Handbook. And it's got hard stuff in it. This is the first time I saw some really hardcore sleight of hand technique in book format. Cards, coins, it showed me how hard and difficult magic actually can be. Here's someone learning how to palm a card. So, not easy. And this is where I learned all my original stuff, man. I started with hard-to-read books, you know? And so the Johnson Smith catalog, it became my source for all sorts of things. And I always had it with me, and I would read it. And I think I talked about it the other day. When I would order stuff, it would take months. 3 months, 4 months. I mean, it was crazy. So I had to put the Johnson Smith catalog on. It definitely is one of my favorite books. Now, this one here, for sure. And I've talked about this on the show. Grandpa's Ghost Stories. It's a beautiful children's book that is... If somebody wants me to read a kid's book to a kid, this is the one I read. Here's the new print of it. At one point, this was going for $200. It was so hard to find. Now they reprinted it. And you know what's funny? Anybody know who reprinted it? Feral House. Feral House, folks. Excellent publishing company. And it's basically, if you got little kids and you want to read them a spooky story, it's awesome. I would say the reason why I was influenced by it so much isn't necessarily the story, but it's the art. James Flora, his art is just, here, I'll show you some. It's beautiful. It's like, look at this. My gosh. Now this, see how this is a little shiny? I prefer this matte finish stuff. Like, look at that. Look at those colors, by God. James Flora. Okay. Here's a big one. Here's a big one. Let me move this out of the way. Right here, folks. You gotta be kidding me. Hello, Satanic Bible, folks. Yep. So, this book, not only was it groundbreaking when it came out, people don't realize this, but this book has been in print and never gone out since it was first written. And this is one of my old copies. Look, there's some weird scribbles in the cover. I don't know why. The cover's in bad shape. There's weird markers in it and all sorts of stuff. My story with that book is this. And it's funny because I told somebody the story today. I was really interested in reading occult literature. And the library had a little bit. The bookstore had more. But you remember in the old days, you couldn't read books in the bookstore. They wouldn't let you. So I would see all the books, the occult books, save money, and after a month, I'd go buy one. And I bought so many. I did a lot of witchcraft books and voodoo books and white witchcraft, gray witchcraft, the Green Witch. There were 2 books in the bookstore that intrigued me, but scared me a bit. The Necronomicon and the Satanic Bible. I thought they were too extreme. I have a Necronomicon here somewhere. So I bought the Necronomicon first. Well, first of all, let me explain. The witchcraft books didn't interest me because the binary notion of the theological world I was coming from, I saw it in those books. It was the same. The Jesus story was just getting flipped into a different type of a God, even though it had the same trappings. So I thought, I didn't find what I was looking for in the occult movement. I was actually disappointed. So I get the Necronomicon, and that's the worst one of all. It's basically a hoax. There were 2 gay men that owned a cool occult bookstore, and they wrote that book. You were 16. Yeah, I was 13. I still remember. Lilith will know this, but Magical Child was the bookstore. What was the gentleman's name that owned it? They were pretty well known in New York City. So I bought that Necronomicon, and I realized it was a hoax. Clearly. And then I bought the Satanic Bible. That one right there. And pretty quickly, it caught my attention with the first chapters in there. The intro grabbed my eye. And really quick, I realized I was done with the occult movement. I had found the book that was basically let me know that the way I have been thinking my whole life, I was not alone. And that the magic that he formulated for his satanic movement, if you want to call it, Herman Slater. There it is, Herman. He framed it and presented it in the book as something you could see and go, oh, that's me. It wasn't, God, I want to be that. It was, that's me. And I noticed that the psychology here matched the psychology in my magic trick books. He was a carny. He came from the carnival. So when I saw the correlation of his carny education coming together in this book, I was like, there it is. So that book, major influence, major, as a lot of people in here probably. A lot of people were in, there it is, Simon Peter Levenda. He also had a cable access show for a while in Manhattan Cable. So let me ask Lilith, you'll know this. There's a new movie out I heard about that store. Well, dude, this Satanic Bible, when I was reading this, you could get expelled from school and stuff. It was serious. You know, you had to keep it on the down low. You know, people were, it was dangerous, serious stuff. Now, that book has been on my favorite book list forever. But you know what's interesting? This book, I talked about it last week, The Command to Look. It's on my list now. Why? Because Anton LaVey, when he wrote this book, he used a lot of the notions in here. They are what, this book was a major influence to him. And it made it to my list. If you watch episode 95, last one, I talk a lot about that book. Yeah, I'm curious to see that movie, Lilith. Now, here's a book that changed my life in many ways, and I recommend getting it because I think it's not going to be in print forever. Hello. Remember this one? How many of you have this in your library? From high school through college, this was definitely something that I loved. I know for a fact that there's a movie about this book, and it's about the man who wrote it, and it's kind of sad because he, at the end, he regretted writing it because a lot of people died because of this book. People made bombs from this and killed people. I don't think the book should be banned in any way, shape, or form. I think it's interesting. There's also a few hoaxes in here. The banana peel smoking hoax is in here. But the bomb making stuff's real, and I don't know. It talks about making drugs, bombs. It's pretty, you know, it's all the bad stuff. I like it. You printed it off the internet. Wow. I don't even know if you can get it now. How much did I pay for this? So I paid $22 for this 35 years ago. That was a lot of money. This would be like a $50 to $100 book now. So, yeah, major fan of this book. It was like the book that if you were, oh, here we go. Yes. Interesting. Here we go. See? This is why we have smart people. The Satanic Witch has a chapter titled Looks Are Everything. Yes. That's where, so the Satanic Witch is what he used Command to Look to write, not the Satanic Bible. Right. I got you. True. Very true. Yeah, that's where it gets into lesser magic in detail. Yeah. What else in here? Yeah, Satanic Witch. What's this? Used to Revenge books. George Hayduke. I don't know this. What is that? And then last but not least on my book list, notice there's not a lot of fiction. I had to put this. I mean, I like all of the Lord of the Rings books. The Hobbit's fine. But the Two Towers? Yeah. Wow. Lumpanics? What is that? So the Two Towers. Tolkien. He changed the world with his fantasy. I remember reading it in high school and being absolutely swept away in a new world. 100%. It just, wow. I mean, I even liked where he's describing the weather, you know? Now, the 11th book on here, which I didn't put on the list, but it would be one of these. Let me see. It would be, not the Archie Bunker book, H.P. Lovecraft. Oh shit, I almost fell. Focus. I'm a major H.P. Lovecraft fan. As for fiction, I put him at number 11. And there's one other book I almost put on the list, and I just saw it, and I'm going to mention it. I think it's kind of valuable now. I remember seeing this book in a store. What do you see? such a weird book that I like. I would definitely put this at number 12. This, Richard Carlton Hacker. It's a book on the hobby of pipe smoking and collecting. Now, I don't smoke pipe tobacco anymore. If I get a terminal illness, I might start smoking a pipe again. But, oh look. 50th anniversary event in Poughkeepsie. So there's some weird notes in here, but it's a book on the history of pipe smoking. And this is where I started my knowledge in pipeology. It goes into briar, meerschaum, clay. It breaks up pipe tobacco in detail. It really started my knowledge in pipe tobacco, pipedom. And there's lots of weird ephemera in here from pipe shops. Honestly, I don't... Yeah, look. So, yeah, that book, definitely in my top 20. I do intend to do an entire episode on pipe collecting and how to pick a good pipe and how to pick the right pipe tobacco. Richard Carlton Hacker. It is a good name. There's not many books written on pipe tobacco and pipes. I have 6. That's the best one. And I think it's very hard to find this book. The Ultimate Pipe Book. I'm going to do an episode where I explain pipe tobaccos, why a pipe would cost $100, why a pipe would cost $300. You know why? I'll explain. There's a reason. Oh, the author photo is in here. Look. Let's look at it. Do they still do that in books? I guess they do. I like it. Look. Look at that guy. God. Man, that guy must smoke a lot of tobacco. Wonder if he's still alive. I'm going to check it out. Let me see this. Yeah, I'll look it up later. He was like the pipe dude. Dude, you know there's pipe smoking contests? It's how slow you smoke. They give you 2 matches and a certain amount of tobacco, and it's whoever's the last one wins. Not easy. Yeah. So, folks, those are my books. I mean, I got, on the other side of this camera, there's about 250 magic trick books. I wanted to pick one of them. I have a few that I really like, but I couldn't put them all. What a dude. I keep doing this to my neck because it hurts right now. Yeah, those are my books. I love my books. Books and records, folks. A lifetime of books and records. Thank you, Achilles. I mean, it was hard to do. I really tried to be honest. There was a few that I put on just because I was like, oh, that's cool. But then I was like, nah, honestly, it didn't do much for me. So I really tried to make it as honest as possible. And that's my book list. I'll post it on my Instagram page. Thank you. Yeah. I hope you found that interesting. Innocent Man by Grisham. Nonfiction. Wow. Frank Zappa's autobiography. Wow. How about this? I'm reading Mozart's letters. That might go into my favorite book of all time. I started reading the letters and his correspondences with his wife and his father and stuff. Really interesting. Books of Wonder. So Rick Sherman chimed in. In the world of magicians, and Rick Sherman's a magician and a mentalist and a performer, there's this thing called Books of Wonder. It's 2 books written by Tommy Wonder, and most people don't do any of the magic tricks in those books. But we read it to study his thinking and how he came up with the tricks. I have a lot of books like that. I don't do the tricks, but I want to know his mind. Why he chose to do certain things for this magic routine. And that's one. So I've never read the Zappa biography. I am a fan of his, so I might be interested. Wow. Thank you, everybody. It's Monday. I didn't eat dinner yet. And I'm going to bounce soon. And I'm not going to be back next Monday. I'm going to be back on Wednesday. I have music rehearsals. I'll do the show next Wednesday. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna do something cool. It's my episode before Halloween, so let's see. What else, folks? If you're new to this channel and you've been in here chatting and chilling, the least thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. Fear and Loathing, yep, that was cool. I read it. I liked it. Didn't make it to my list though. How to Operate a Financially Successful Haunted House. That's probably number 13. Believe it or not, I'm not that big of a Hunter S. Thompson fan. I appreciate his work. Never did it for me. I would be curious to read his book on Hell's Angels. I think it's just called Hell's Angels. Because I've spent a lot of time around them. So I've worked for them. So I like to read what he has to say. Yeah, I'm not a fiction guy. I'm more of a nonfiction guy. So, but yeah, I'll be back next Wednesday. I've got some cool ideas yet. I haven't formulated exactly what it's going to be. But yeah, I've got some special stuff in the works. And what else? It's Monday. Let's have a good week. What else? Who else have we got in here? We got a good group. Thank you. A lot of chitter chatter in here. I'm going to come back and read all the comments. I think I might have missed some. Well, folks, I had a great time, and I will see you next Wednesday. I'm going to bounce out of here quick because I'm hungry. What else? Jinx. What's this? More straight journalism. Yeah, see, that's why I think I might like it better. That's the one. Hell's Angels. I might order that. I'm curious. I know a lot about the Hell's Angels. I'm curious of what he has to say. I think they beat him up at one point, right? I think he got his butt kicked, which I guess happens if you hang out with him long enough. Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm going to take us out with the outro, and I hope you guys have an awesome week. I'm getting up early because, Mama, if you're watching, I'm going to go look at your apartment that you might be taking. What else? That's it, folks. I'm going to bounce us out with our outro trailer. And, yeah, we did. Our brains are on Hell's Angels. Wonder if I can get one of those dudes to come on here and do an interview. Go eat, Adam. Great show. Thank you, Lilith. I will, I'll see you all soon. And, yeah, have a great week and party on. Come on. Let's do it.